Rabbitohs Radio Podcast, the number one source for everything South Sydney Rabbitohs.
Welcome to another edition of Rabbitohs Radio. My name is Grant Chappell. I'm joined by my loyal co-host and Fred. He's back. Big Lez from Big Lez's Rugby League Podcast. What's doing, Les?
Not much, mate. Not much. Been training a little bit with Southeastern, getting back into pre-season. Tell you what, it is tough. We had a session on South Maroubra. We got kicked off the turf. The council didn't want us training on the main paddock there, so we got in trouble a little bit. We had to train on South Maroubra, but it was good. Did a beach session. Tell you what, the blowers were well and truly gone after that one. Really testing the fitness, but it was good. Getting some power in the legs. Also doing a new podcast as well now with Supercoach Experience, Brandon Savage.
Tell us a bit about that.
It's good. It's basically like a blokey sort of, you come in, you review the games, talk about the hot topics. They have a TikTok live going during the podcast. We answer questions from the fans as well during the podcast. Yep. It's good. He's a good bloke. Obviously had a spot open to do that sort of podcast with him, so thought I'd jump in and help out. It's out in Revesby, which is it's a lovely spot to get to, but it's good. It's really good. He's a real good bloke. It's a great podcast. I think that's going to be really, really big this year, so I'm keen for that next little chapter. Yeah,
sweet. Well, we might throw a little link into that one for sure, mate. What about, you've been in a bit of Supercoach this year, mate? You got any...
Look,
I know this is unscripted, but Supercoach tip off the top of your head.
Supercoach tip.
Related to South.
Who for South? I've got Tyrone Munro in my team, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm taking a bit of a risk. I think he's 315k or something on Supercoach, so one of the cheapies in there. But I think that he'll score a few tries outside Jack Whiten to start the year, giving a little bit away from my starting 17 for round one. But I think that he'll probably go and score a few tries for South and get some points.
What about someone like Peter Mamazoulis? Would you put him on your bench as your second hooker? Because he's going to get a lot of game time this year.
I've got Phoenix Crossland because I think that he'll start over Braley.
What's he, about 330 or something?
He'd be 315.
315, yeah.
Yeah, so I got Crossland, but Pistol Pete, a lot of people are going with him, and after the trials, I wouldn't be surprised if he does end up getting that jersey. Okay,
we're going to get into the round one predicted lineup. We're going to also do our best bet for Vegas, because Vegas is... Look, I'm getting excited. I watched all that NRL 360 yesterday. The Matty John show was on yesterday afternoon at a bit of an unusual time, but it worked out all right for Arvo's shift. I was watching the job too, don't worry. And then we're also going to do a little bit of injury, report, little update on a couple of different guys, because, geez, we've got a big injury list at the moment, Les. It's looking a bit grim at the moment, but I think there's going to be some troops coming back. And then we might toss up a few names of who do you think South should sign.
Yeah.
Okay?
Perfect.
That'll be the show. We might get straight into it, mate. Round one predicted lineup. We might just get you to do a review because we haven't seen you for a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Give us a review on those last couple of games. What your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, look, I mean, last week in particular, I thought that, the second half was definitely a lot better than the first. The first half defensively, there's definitely a few question marks there with some of our starting boys. I think that there is a little bit of a question mark around Lewis Dodd in the number 7 jersey as well. I mean, not so much from Lewis Dodd's performance, but more so from Humphries and what he was able to do in the second half. Really, really strong. I think that Dodd, he's put a little bit of a question mark on his name, obviously with the suspension, but it gives Humphries that opportunity to lock down that spot. And, Wayne loves picking that guy that just puts in 110%. So if Humphries is that guy and he does in the opening 3 weeks really carve up in that 7 jersey, he'll keep it. He'll keep it for sure. So I think that Humphries has pretty much locked himself in for a spot, whether that be at 9, whether that be at 7. He's locked himself into a spot for me. I thought Jai Gray was terrific on the weekend. Even when we weren't going well, at fullback, coming in late, obviously with a troll with that injury, he was terrific. Defensively, great coverage. You were talking about a one-on-one tackle on Jack DeBellin he had during the game before we started recording as well. He is an absolute weapon, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Look, just going back to Humphries, you can tell the boys love him because that individual try scored, they really got around him, didn't they? They come from the wing and backslapped him, jumped on him, and then I think he's a really popular member of the squad, which is important. Yep. Communication's going to be huge if you're going to wear the jumper number 7 in the next couple of weeks, or definitely round 1. I think we're going to get to the lineups very shortly. I think he might be on mine or your list at some stage, going back to Jai Gray, just a question without notice again, but Jai Gray, do you think he could play up in the halves at 7 or 6?
I think he can. I've loved what I've seen
from him. I get a lot of questions online about that.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think he definitely can. I just wouldn't be trying something out that we haven't seen yet this early in the season, especially when you've got Humphries that's just played so well in that 7 jersey, carved up there, great kicking game, really tough defender. I know Joe Gray can definitely do a job at 7. Is it the way I want to start the season? No, probably not. I'll tell you what, though, if there's a little bit of noise around Cody Walker, if he's going to be 100% for round 1, if he's out, then I'd probably go Jai Gray there. But then again, who's your fullback if Jai Gray isn't in that jersey too? So
yeah, we don't have a lot of fullback options at the moment.
Yeah.
But if Latrell's back, say, in round, 8 or 9 or whatever, and Jai's flying, it's usually be hard to drop him or keep him out of your 17.
It would, for sure. And I think that's going to be fun to watch, that battle for the number 14 jersey too. If Jai Gray plays well enough, he'll certainly be there. I mean, you've got a few guys battling for that jersey when everyone's back fully fit. Humphries, if Dodd does work his way back into the side, he'll be fighting for it. Bud Sullivan, Bali beyond Aoda. It's a real tough fight for that 14 jersey. So it will be interesting to see who gets in there and grabs it for sure.
Yeah, and it's obviously going to be who's available coming into round 1, and that's what we're going to do. Our predicted round 1 lineup with who we think's available at the moment.
Yep.
Les, you want to start?
Yep, I'll go for it, mate. I've got Jai Gray at fullback. I think that's a pretty obvious one with Latrell being out for the next 6 to 8 weeks. My wingers, I've got Tyrone Munro playing on the left side. I think that him being next to Whiten, who's a good facilitator, I think that's probably the best go, them building a bit of a combination. Surprised we didn't see more of it in the Indigenous All-Stars game. I think they started on opposite edges, to be honest. So, but I think that going into round 1, it's a combination I'd love to see. Maybe when Campbell Graham gets back, you build that combination with him on the right side. But to start the year with Campbell Graham, there's a bit of noise if he is in or out. Depending on if Campbell Graham is in or out, that's going to be dependent on the side that Tyrone Munro is going to play. But at the moment, I've got him on the left if Campbell Graham's out, right side if Campbell Graham's in. The other wing spot will be Isaiah Tass for me. I think that he's shown some really positive signs in the trials. A lot of question marks around him, obviously, with what an abundant squad, or at least what we thought was an abundant squad of lots of talent. Fletcher Myers, how he ended the year last year as well. There was a lot of question marks as to if Tass would get a spot in your side after re-signing. He's obviously going to start round 1 for me on that wing. Again, dependent on if Campbell Graham plays left or right side. But yeah, look, I think that's probably going to be most likely your starting wingers there, Munro and Tass. Centers, White and Campbell Graham. Campbell Graham, if he's playing, if he's not, I'd move Tass into the centers and I'd go with Fletcher Myers on the wing. But yeah, at the moment,
that on the weekend, yeah.
Yeah, I think that we'll have to wait and see because Campbell Graham's training at the moment. You said,
yeah, he's been training, so
yeah, okay.
I think he's not 100%, but yeah, we can pencil him in today.
Yeah,
all
perfect, right? Easy. I've got Cody Walker at 6. I've got Jamie Humphries at 7. I think that what he showed in the trials, you've got to throw him in that 7 jersey to start the year with Dodd unfortunately being suspended for a high shot there. I've got Davey up front with Jai Arrow. I think that's a mean starting pack. I love a bit of a mobile guy mixed with a bigger human as well. I think that works.
Experience is huge,
100%.
Especially in this lineup at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. You just need a guy that's experienced up front. With Keon obviously looking like it's going to be him on the edge, I'd probably stick with Jai Arrow up front, having him as that mongrel that starts the game and just really creates havoc in that first 20 minutes or so. Davey up front too, I think will start. Pistol Pete, it looks like he's locked down that 9 jersey. Peter Mamazoulis played well on the weekend, to be honest. There's a lot of criticism on the back end of the year in his form. He played very well in that trial, and the reason that Humphries looked so good was because Pete was giving him those opportunities at a dummy half as well. Just his ruck speed, the way that he was coming out of dummy half, and obviously his ball playing as well. Something that he's worked on throughout the off-season. He looks like a completely different human too out there on the field. So I think he's in for a big season potentially too. Definitely not what I was sort of expecting just based on past seasons and the amount of first grade that he's played. But really excited for Pistol Pete. I think it's a huge opportunity for him to start the year. Tallis Duncan right side. I've got Keon left side, back row. I've got Lockie Hubner starting the year at 13. I love Tallis on the edge. The lines that he runs defensively is very solid. Maybe he does move into the middle mid-game if you want to have that sort of rotation. But
a bit like Cam sort of did when he started on edge.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that's probably a thing you could sort of go for there. But I just love Tallis defensively on that right side, especially if Campbell Graham is going to be out. It's good to have an operator like him on the field. And Lockie Hubner, I loved what I saw from him at 13. When he came onto the field, there was an immediate impact. We talk about the impact of Humphries, the impact of Pistol Pete coming onto the field, Jai Gray creating havoc. But I think that Lockie Hubner was a huge part of that because he got a lot of go forward through the middle, just the leg speed, the offload that he had as well. I think that's huge as a 13. So he seems like a Wayne sort of dude too, Lockie Hubner. It's the only reason he's come over to South Sydney. So I think he starts at 13. My bench would be Bud Sullivan, 14. You said that he was trialling a little bit hooker on the over the week.
Yeah, well, at Mudgee played hooker in the second half. At one stage, obviously he's playing 7. At one stage he played 6, so he can cover a lot of positions, Bud, can't he?
Yeah, and I think that's,
I'm sure if Jai went down, he could probably run back and play fullback.
Yeah, 100%.
Injury mid-game.
Yeah. So I think that he'll be a good guy to sort of cover positions too at 14. Sean Keppie, I've got him in there as well in jersey 15. Big opportunity for Sean Keppie with a lot of injuries in and around the pack. I think that he'll definitely be a guy that you sort of see have a bit of an impact and try to, especially back under Wayne, have a big season. So expect a big turnaround from Sean Keppie, who, by the way, was pretty good on the weekend too, to be honest. I thought that he played all right. LeBlanc there in jersey 16, and then I've got Havili there in jersey 17, can cover a few positions, middle, edge, lock forward. He can cover a few positions there, and LeBlanc is the same. So I think that it's going to be interesting to see how we start the year, not only with 2 big stars out of this side, but also just a little bit of injury around the pack. It looks like Totola won't start the year. He'll probably be out for the first few rounds.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't look like it yet.
Yeah, I think that's going to be great, not only for these younger guys to get opportunities, but more so it'll be interesting to see how they handle it as well, and if they can keep their spots.
Yep, not a bad side, mate. I reckon that goes up there and is more than competitive against the Dolphins. It goes up and wins, mate. I might get to my lineup, very similar to yours. Jai Gray, I think it's a blessing in disguise that Latrell went down, and we were able to give him plenty of games last year. And then number 1, instead of bringing him in as a rookie this year, which might have been the plan. He come in a bit probably earlier in his career than he wanted to. He's only 20 years of age. Jai Gray, I think he's been probably our best back in the trials. I don't think that's a far stretch. I went for Tassie on the wing to partner up with Campbell Graham on the right side. On the left side, I've gone Jackie Boy and Tai Tai. Tai Tai was just cruising the other day, I think. I think you'll see a bit more energy from him, a bit more straighter in his carries out of dummy half and a bit more straighter in his yardage carries. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to say, I don't know, but I think Cody Walker might not play round 1, so I'm going to go without Cody Walker first week, just to give him another week or 2 to get that right, because he's such a key player. I don't want him coming back and getting hurt again. A calf injury is such a reoccurring injury when you're 35 years of age, which you turned 35 in January. I've got Buddy Sullivan there at 5'8", number 6. On that left-hand side, he's a right foot kicker, which is a more natural side to play on. He can kick over to that corner. Then I've got Jamie Humphries, who was so impressive when he come on. It was like a different feel out there. At 34-0, I was going, where's this going? It's just...
He played
Are we hitting 60 here or what?
He played predominantly left side, didn't he, Humphries?
He did in the second half when he came on. He first came on as a lock, Humphries. Come on at lock, and then he jumped in at hooker. And then the second half he played on the left side, which is 5'8". So Bud ended up taking control in the second half. But if you remember that first kick Bud did, it was on that left-hand side. So they moved it around a bit, and that's purely because we only took 21 players up there. The Dragons took 27.
So say that's the halves pairing that starts the year. Do you think it's a side one that they sort of switch in between and then they sort of move around both sides of the ruck?
Mate, I don't know, because I really like Bud at number 7 in the lower grades, but I was happy with what I was seeing from Jamie when he jumped on that left-hand side in the second half. He commanded the ball. Pete was quite happy to give it to him. First up, Bud can play off the back of that. We're seeing what Bud does. What you love from a 5'8" is someone who's going to back up the middle like Terry Lamb, don't you? And he did that in the first half when Jai Gray beat a couple of blokes on the outside. And he's pretty quick too. Showed a bit of toe.
He's been
2 years in a row he scored in the Charity Shield.
They
only scored one try last year, and it was Bud.
There you go.
There's a bit of facts for you.
He's been training well, hasn't he, Bud Sullivan?
He has. Just a guy that's like, he's not going to be superstar overnight, but I think he's one of those guys, as the year goes on, the more confidence Wayne can instill in him, I think he's going to be one of the, like Jamie Humphries, one of the best buys in the off season for us. Along with another bloke we'll speak about later. I'm going to give the front row the same as the last couple of weeks. Davey, Pete, and Sean Keppie. I was happy what I've seen from all 3 of them, especially Pete. I thought he was outstanding in the second half, just playing some footy, getting out of dummy half, the way he put Jai away. He was hanging around for that offload from Hubby. I think it was in the second half too. Look, he got caught in the fifth tackle there once in the second half when we had a bit of a roll on, but it didn't cost us because we had a shift over the left and scored anyway. In the second row, I'm going to go Jai Arrow back at right second row. I'm going to go Keon left second row. And I'm going with Hubby too. If you want to go like for like, I think he's closer than Tallis to Cam Murray. He's probably not as quick. If he can get a bit faster in the feet, he's got a high work rate on him. He hits pretty hard for a. He's not the biggest lock forward. Not the Cam is. I really like what I've seen from him, and I don't think Wayne would have brought him down not to play him where he wants him. I think he wants him at lock. Now all the murmurs coming out when we signed him last year that he's like a Cam Murray of the Queensland Cup last year. That was what his nickname was up there. There you go. There's your like for like straight up the bat. On the bench, Havili. I'm not sure if he's available. I know he had that head knock in the first pre-season challenge up there at Gosford. I love having him in there. You just look. All the Cast Patrol boys have been saying to you can't put him on his back. You know, he's no turtle. Put it that way. So we'll have him coming on. He can play a bit of middle. He can play hooker. He can bend his back there for Pete if we have to. Tallis Duncan can play anywhere. He's just a goer. He hits so hard. Him and LeBlanc are very similar, I reckon. Yep. Probably, obviously, Tallis has got more experience, a little bit heavier up top. Yeah. I'm going to go with Blanky as well. Been very impressed with his pre-season. I love what he's doing. I hope they re-sign him. He's on his final year of the contract. And I'm going to throw a little smoky in here. I'm going to throw Thomas Fletcher to make his first grade debut up there against the Dolphins.
What are your thoughts on him on the weekend?
He wasn't out there for long enough. You know, he copped a bump on the head. I think Cookie got underneath him and tipped him. But, yeah, he was just unlucky. He copped a bump, come off a little bit early. But, I like him.
What's his pre-season been like?
Good. He's had a great pre-season, except for that little bump. I thought he was pretty good up there at Gosford. I think he topped the tackle count, 39 tackles. Yeah. I'm sure Wayne would have been happy with his work rate. He's just a bloke who just keeps coming all day, a worker. And that's exactly what we need, a worker like that. And I've gone the same, Fletcher Myers as the 18th man. Yep. To cover any outside back head knocks or something.
Perfect. You said that Tallis was your off the bench. Yep. Where does he come onto the field for you?
I think he comes on maybe in the back row to start with. You got to remember, Jai hasn't had much of a pre-season. He's been carrying that shoulder injury for a while. He hasn't played a trial at all, so you're going to have to cover him. You'd like to think Campbell Graham coming on. Can he go 80 off the bat? He's a pretty fit guy. He's put a lot of Ks in the legs. He's only been he was going really well up until he had the thumb injury. Yeah, okay. So I'm sure he's still putting plenty of kilometres in the legs. He'll be fine, you'd like to think. I think he comes on. He might spell Hubby. Hubby might get gassed out. Yeah. Playing his probably the first time he's ever started at lock in his career. I think he comes on, plays a bit of middle, bit of edge with Jairo. Yeah,
okay. You said Campbell might not play the full 80. Is it worth carrying someone on the bench?
Well, maybe if they don't put Tom Fletcher in, maybe the other Fletcher comes in, Fletcher Myers. As a 17th man, a smoky on the bench. You could just ease Campbell Graham into it. Remembering he hasn't played since the previous season. Was it 223? Was it his last?
Yeah, I think it was game? Origin. He got picked for Origin, then had to get ruled out because of the sternum. That was the last time he played.
And then he just needled up for the rest of the year. Yeah, he sort of played the year out, but I don't think he was right. It was a pretty tough baptism of fire, mate. There's the predicted lineups for round one from Big Lez and Chaps here on Rabbitohs Radio podcast. Obviously, there's something pretty big happening over there. I'm pretty jealous watching those shows and being over there last year and how fun it was. Been listening to Matty Johns' has got a little podcast with his son, and they had Fletch on and Hindy, and it just sounds so much fun over there. So I thought we'd do a best bet for the weekend. Obviously, we've got the Raiders playing the Warriors in the first game at 11 a.m. Then we've got the Panthers, the four-time defending premiers, looking ominous again, up against the Sharks. I think are fit as a fiddle, the Sharks.
How are the Panthers still the favourites with their side? They've got a few out in the back line. Garner's at centre. They've got Alamotti moving out to the wing. Like, that's going to be...
I just think your side with Dylan Edwards, Nathan Cleary, Liam Martin, Isaiah Yeo, they've got to be favourites, don't they?
Yeah, I know.
You can put anyone in. I could put anyone in with those other guys. Seriously, they are four freaks and they have a big influence on the game. I think someone put up a stat the other day, win percentage in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
The highest win percentage was Liam Martin. So he's very influential, and he'll factor into my bet, mate. What's your best bet in Vegas, mate? Not that we've got a bet sponsor or anything, or we encourage it. Gamble responsibly.
That's it. Look, for me, I would probably take the Raiders as a bit of an underdog to win over there against the Warriors.
Okay.
The Warriors certainly have a better team on paper. I mean, look at the forward pack: Fisher Harris, Barnett.
More of a veteran team, aren't they? A lot of vets there.
But real strong outfit. Depending on how they play, obviously is going to be a big factor. I mean, Ali Leatua has been the story of the preseason too. He's been unreal for them in the centre position. But yeah, look, I think that the Raiders are probably the best bet over there. I love what they're sort of building at the moment, and I think I just want them to prove me wrong. I came out with a really bold prediction that they were going to be close to, or in contention for a wooden spoon this year. I want them to come out and prove me wrong. So I'm going to go with Raiders as the underdog to get the job done. In terms of try scorers in this one, I'd probably look at Tuapiki for the Warriors. He's been sensational too in the trials.
Yep.
I'd probably go then, if I'm going with the Raiders, Xavier Savage. Love Xavier Savage. So Raiders with Savage and Tuapiki. And then Panthers, I think... Yeah, I don't know. I think that Garner at centre is an interesting one. I think that the Sharks, you said it yourself, mate. They're looking really primed coming into the preseason. So I think that's going to be a real tight game. I'd probably go Panthers 1-12, adding that to my little bet there. Haven't got the full price yet.
Okay.
Might probably put it up on the Insta, but that's
There
what
you
I'm
go.
sort of going with. What do you bet
I
yourself?
don't mind that, mate. I've just gone down Liam Martin anytime in the second game. I love the way he plays football, how hard the kid runs. Absolutely love it. He's a influential character. Straight in to the Warriors, $1.67 off the bat. I just like that veteran team early in the season.
Yep.
You just went through some of the guys there. Fisher Harris, huge in. I even love what Dylan Walker does off the bench.
Yep.
Plays a bit of footy around the middle of the field. Might be able to tire out some of those smaller Raiders
How
guys.
influential has he been in the preseason?
Oh, it's been huge. Huge. He's on a final year of his contract. He might come up a bit later on. Someone we could sign, but
Yeah, for sure.
and that'll get you a sweet little $6.26 at the moment, without mentioning any agencies, mate. So there's a couple of tips there for Vegas. Looks some interesting times ahead over there. Looks like they had some great response with ticket sales. Looks like it's up around the 45,000 mark at the moment. I think they've had 15,000 ticket sales roughly, what they're saying on NRL 360 last night, just from locals.
Yep.
And they're the people you're trying to attract to the game. I was surprised. I think they said there was 9,000 Kiwis went over too.
Yeah, wow.
That's massive. That's
That is
huge.
huge, yeah.
For the game,
I think it actually made the highest amount of ticket sales, like by percentage, was New Zealand fans. So
Wow.
the Warriors, not only the New Zealand Warriors, but the Wigan Warriors as well, getting over there. So
Yeah, true.
you're sort of outnumbered in that respect. You've got two Warriors teams going over, but look, I'm keen for Vegas. I was spewing them over there. Probably go over next year for sure. But yeah, look, I'm keen for just one day of good rugby league football, full day of it, before then getting into four days of it moving forward.
You've got to get you over there one day.
That's it, mate.
I reckon you'd love it, mate.
Yeah, for sure. I'm
I
keen.
might interrupt pre-season for you, mate, but I'm sure you'll be able to get back on track, mate. Look, we might get into a little bit of an injury update. I'm not going to go through the whole injury list. We've got plenty of guys there. I'm just going to start with Shaq Mitchell. They didn't do a lot on him, but a guy that would be handy right now. I'd put him in my 17 after what I've seen in the All-Stars game. I don't know about you. I thought he was strong. He was the captain of that side. Scored the only try in the match for the Indigenous
Wish I had a
side.
bit of money on him as a first try scorer. Just quietly.
That would have been paying a mozza, wouldn't
I know.
it? The big fella. He reached out and scored. Well, I believe he's not back till round 10. That was a bit of a shock. I found that one out today. That's a big out.
Yeah, it is a big out, especially when you've got a few injuries in the pack, and Totola sort of just easing him back in as well. That's going to be really interesting. But yeah, Shaq was impressive in that Indigenous All-Stars game. Really strong through the middle. He's probably one of the Indigenous All-Stars best forwards too. Just commanding respect. Skipper there in the middle. He was really, really good. So that is going to be a bit of an out. He's also got a cheeky little offload on him as well. So it's a bit of a point of difference.
He's aggressive. He's aggressive. Carries the ball strong. He's quite happy to put a shot on if he can plant his feet. He's had a few lower limb injuries, unfortunately, a bit of calf. He's had a history of hamstring injuries, so I'd say they're taking the long road there for that one. Hopefully, we see Shaq back before that, maybe.
Yeah.
If he's in front of schedule, rounds 8 or 9. Alex Johnson and the prodigious talent of Hayes and Mellors, which we haven't seen yet. He's got a body shape like a young Sonny Bill Williams, this kid. But they're on the field. They're starting to do that 3/4 pace runner now, both of them. So expect them to be possibly taken off the bib very shortly and getting on the field with I reckon only a couple of weeks away, maybe 4 weeks max, around 4 max. I reckon for those two.
Yeah,
it'd be good to see Hayes and Mellors get back and play even flag. Get back play a dozen games in flag.
100%. He's a real talent, and you guys, yourself and Browney, have been very high on him for a while. So I'm keen to see if we do get a taste of him in 2025, potentially making his debut. But it will depend on obviously how the back line looks, if there's injuries there. Alex Johnston, though, I would love him to get the record at South Sydney and just be in this side. It's what every South fan wants to see. So looking forward to him getting back. Even if it is a 4-week return, mate, are you sort of rushing Alex Johnston in after such a hectic injury, or you sort of giving him time?
Yeah, I think he's just such a pro's pro that he'll get his body ready ahead of schedule. I think that's how it'll work. I haven't look. This isn't those couple of guys. They're just a guess from mine. There's nothing coming from the club or anything like that. But and I think Ewan Aitken, I think he'd be back around round 4. He's been training pretty hard the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, okay.
Looks very fit, very agile, very strong. Obviously, he's not doing contact with the Rocky Boulder.
Yeah.
So when he probably does a bit of contact, he might be only 2 weeks away when he starts to bang the shoulders against one of his training partners.
When he comes in, does he start for you?
I think he just about comes straight into the starting lineup.
Yeah, okay.
I think he does. Yeah, he's one of those. Just that bit more speed. When you don't have a big pack, which we wouldn't say we've got a big pack, would you? Yeah. You want a bit more speed around the ruck, don't you? Just to get that legs tackle and get a quick play of the ball, and we can play off the back of that. And that's when you've seen the best footy from South on the weekend, didn't you? Yeah. Legs tackles. We're going through the ruck a bit quicker. It was guys like Liam LeBlanc, Hubner, Tallis Duncan, just rolling up the middle. That's when we looked at our best.
Yeah.
Latrell Mitchell, I don't know anything. I've got no inkling. I'm gonna say he's back in round 5.
Round 5.
That's my prediction.
It's a 6 to 8 week return for him. So round 5, you reckon?
I reckon he's coming back early.
Okay. How's he? Have you seen much of his rehab at the moment? How he's looking and stuff?
Yeah. Look, I mean, you can't tell with a hammy. You know what? You don't limp with a hammy, do you?
Yeah.
Like, unless it's torn off the bone like that one he had against Para a few years ago. But no, he looks all right. He looks in good spirits. He was up there at Mudgee, kicking the ball around. He's at the captain's run. He was at the game, and he's one of those characters. People just mob to him, don't they?
Yeah.
Like, all the kids go to him, and he's got so much time for all the little kids, and so many autographs and photos with everyone. And he's a champion. And I just reckon he's going to come back a little bit early. I think they throw out that higher number, 8 weeks. So when he comes back early, it's a real boost for the team.
Yeah. Look, I'm looking forward to seeing him back as well. Like, there was so much talk around him coming into the year that he was one of the fitter guys. He was looking really, really trim compared to previous years. Had a real strong preseason under Wayne. For that injury to sort of happen, it's just so shit for him. But I'm looking forward to seeing him coming back. If it is that round 5 sort of mark, that's going to be great. That's good news for South fans. But obviously, that's just a guesstimate. The NRL physio is sort of more talking about 6 to 8 weeks. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, look, Latrell, I am definitely excited to see him in 2025. And I just want him to get some consistent footy and just stay on for at least, obviously he's going to be out for the first 6 to 8. But just, the rest of the footy throughout the season, even if he doesn't make Origin, just want to see him playing consistent footy for the Rabbitohs throughout the year. That's how we make finals.
Well, I think we said it in a few shows earlier. You and Browney. Brownie's away in Bali, by the way. Doing it tough over there, I hear.
Yeah, I know. He's been to Bali a few times since we've been doing the podcast together. When do I get my holiday, Brownie? What's going on?
They force him to drink Bentangs every afternoon, so he's not too happy.
Terrible life, mate. Terrible life.
Yeah, but anyway, we'll see how the big fella goes. Obviously we said, like I said before, we talk about Browney being in Bali. We'd like to see 20 games out of the big boy this year. And look, if he comes back in round 5, that's still a possibility, fingers crossed.
Yep.
You throw finals in there. If we jag a final spot, there's another couple of games. So, look, something closer to the 20-game mark would be... Yeah, for sure. Would be what all South fans would like to see from our... Look, he's a superstar, isn't he, when he's fit and on. Look, what about South Sydney? We've got a few spots left on the roster this year. You don't have to fill your spots if you don't want to. You can save that salary cap and put it all into the following year if you want. Yeah. I'm going to just go over a couple of names here. You can give me a nod if you want him in there or not.
Yep.
What about Fletcher Baker? Final year of the contract up to Brisbane. Wouldn't break the bank. Good middle forward.
I want to see how much first grade he plays this year before I make that call. He's a good footballer. Like, he's tough, solid. I just need to see a little bit more from him before I go, that's someone I want to specifically target. As you said, you probably won't break the bank with a guy like Fletcher Baker at all. He'd probably be sitting around the 350, 400 mark. But yeah, look,
Maybe
I don't know.
less, yeah.
Maybe even less. I just want to see a little bit more from him and see if he does get a spot. Doesn't look like he will to start the year. But if he starts fighting for first grade and looking really good in Q Cup, maybe that's something I'll consider.
And what about an outstanding junior over at the Warriors, Tanner Stowers-Smith, who wears the red headgear, has been coming on for a while. He's not the hugest middle forward, plays a bit of lock and plays front row as well.
Yep.
What about someone like that?
Yeah, look, if he's obviously killing it in the lower grades, he's definitely be someone I can consider. I haven't seen too much of him. It sounds like you know a lot more than I do, but yeah, look, I mean, if he's killing it for sure.
He can break a tackle, that's for sure. What about Bunty Afoa, another one in his final year of his contract?
He's a veteran, isn't he? How old's Bunty Afoa?
He's been around a while. Got a big
28,
big strong carry on, and 28 in the prime of his career as a middle forward, front rower. Like a real good bench player, comes on and brings the energy, the hair goes everywhere and gets you on the front foot.
Well, look, like we'll see what happens with the Warriors, and you know, if he does end up staying over there. But yeah, look, I don't mind a Bunty Afoa,
especially with them signing Fisher Harris, who looks like he's signed a couple of years over there. Maybe his pathway is blocked to play the football that he wants to play. He'd be someone you could convince to come down. What about another veteran, mate, Jack Hetherington, who's actually been pretty good in the trials. He was good against the Chooks on the weekend.
He's a loose cannon, isn't he?
I love a loose cannon.
Yeah, I love Jack Hetherington. He'd be good under Wayne too, to be honest. I don't mind that shout at all, to be honest. I don't think he starts. I think that he'll probably be a benchy as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't mind that, to be honest.
You know, like they say, you got to have six front rowers.
Yeah.
2 on the field, 2 on the bench. 2 either suspended or injured. At the moment, we've got 4 injured or something. So anyway, he'd be handy at the moment. The other one I like, another one is really good in the pathway system, just hasn't really come on in first grade yet. Might be looking for a change. He's a son of a Panthers legend, Maverick Geyer. He can't even make the starting lineup at the moment.
Mate, I love Maverick Geyer. He's a gun. His work rate is so good. He can come on. He can cover a ton of positions for you as well. I mean, look at the work in those 2 games that he did at centre for the Panthers as well, back to back. Obviously, with injuries in their side, he had to move out into the centres and carved up there. Yeah, I love Maverick Geyer. His work rate's so good, and yeah, I think that he'll kill it if he comes to South.
He's got a high ceiling, no doubt about that. I mean, I'd love to see him reach it.
The only thing is, do we need more back rowers?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
True.
If he comes here as a loose middle, maybe. But yeah, I don't know if we need any more back rowers.
I had a lot of front row coming through the grades.
Yeah,
he's in first grade. He's been coming on as an edge, but you never know. The big boy might put some weight on. What about Ray Fatala Mariner? Been at a few different clubs. I think his pathway is blocked a bit there at the Dragons. They're stacked with forwards at the moment.
Yeah, I also think
he's a cheapie too.
I also think that with Francis Molo, it looks like his career at the Dragons is done. He'll probably be a guy to go for this year if we can get him. But I've heard there's discussions between us and Francis Molo, which we might talk about in a sec. But Raymond Fatala Mariner, he'll probably be an interesting one. I just think that now that Francis is gone, there'll be a lot more of a reliance on him to come on through the middle with that experience. So I think that he'll probably stay at the Dragons. But Francis Molo, there's been a few discussions with us and him at the moment, hasn't there?
Yeah, I think we have met with him twice, but I don't think the discussions went too well, from what I've been told. They're not budging on their price. We don't have that.
He wants...
We don't have this 600 mark, and I don't think he's worth 600 personally at the moment. Maybe the Dragons were desperate at the time and signed him for overs because they haven't been a great side for a long time. So
I don't even know if he was on the Dragons, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he was. I don't know where they got that 600 figure, but I don't think it's a possibility at South this year.
He's a great front rower. 600 though is a big asking price unless you're a bottom grade side, to be honest. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. But if we were able to land a Francis Molo in our starting pack, that would be unreal. He'd be unreal.
He's a powerhouse, very strong. Now, what about he's off contract? A lot of clubs have tossed their name in, hat in the ring. Tommy Hazleton. He probably won't come cheap because there's a bit of a market for him now. Really like him. He reminds me of a Mark Nichols.
Sounds like it's Melbourne and Newcastle at the moment having discussions around him. It looks like the Sharks. Yeah, it looks like the Sharks won't be able to afford him because they've just signed Ronaldo Mulatalo. So I think the discussion at the moment is that he'd have to take unders to stay. So I think that realistically, if we were able to get him for sure, I think that a realistic asking price, like people got to remember, Tommy Hazelton's been playing first grade for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't been around for a long time. I think that probably around the 450 to 500 mark would probably be a fair price for Tommy Hazelton for a potential. If you're signing on potential,
Would be great.
Yeah, I'd love him at South. He's a franchise guy in the middle there.
Could be a cult hero.
Yeah, he's already at the Sharks, so he could definitely be one of those guys at a different club for sure.
And what about yourself, mate? You got any to toss up there, mate, that you think we should sign, or
Just
realistic ones that are off contract next year, or you could get them out of their contract this year, or just pure free agents at the moment? There's not too many out there.
Look, we've talked a lot about forwards. There is a ton of guys on these lists that we could go for. Obviously, this is 0 tackle guys, so this could be a little bit incorrect as well at the same time. I know there's a few guys that have already re-signed. I don't mind Harry Hayes from the Dogs.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a worker. I think that
good.
Coming on through the middle, he'd be a gun, more of an edge and centre.
And the Dogs are stacked in the forwards at the moment with young, up-and-coming guys with all this potential, so maybe he gets squeezed out.
For sure. I don't mind Harrison Edwards from the Cowboys either. Plays more middle but can cover at hooker as well if there's injury. So he's a guy I don't mind either in regards to guys off contract. This Tuku Hautapua from the Sharks. I think he's actually just re-signed, but
huge,
he's a gun.
Met his old man one day.
Yeah.
He was out there playing lower grades for the Newtown. Great bloke. Great family. He comes from that kid.
Yeah. In terms of other positions, though, there's not too much. Trent Toilau from the Panthers, I like. He carved up the other day for Penrith, didn't he? At 7, he was terrific.
What about that? The Panthers, it was like the Jersey Flag side or reserve grade side. They touched up Manly, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. For sure.
They were like $1.16 or something. Manly kickoff.
Yeah, he's a player. Trent Toilau. He came through Melbourne system. And then obviously went over there to the Panthers. He's been sort of blocked by a few of those other guys like your Clearys, your Luais. All the discussion's been around your Schneiders, your Coles, and Coles obviously starting at 6 for the Panthers on the weekend. But yeah, he's a gun. We saw that on the weekend too.
What about Jesse Arthurs there? I like what I've seen from Jesse Arthurs.
He's a gun, isn't he? He's been around a few clubs.
Got better, and he was at South at one stage. He went Melbourne, South. He's been up at the Titans.
Yeah, he's
Broncos.
a real good player.
Am I missing another club? Is
very
that
tough
about
coming out
his
of yardage. I think it's Titans, us, Brisbane. Went to the Warriors on a loan and then went back to Brisbane. So yeah, I don't mind him either. I think that he's a real
very reliable.
He's just so tough. I don't think he'll leave Brisbane, but yeah, he's tough. Who else is here that is sort of a good signing? I think we've covered everyone, to be honest. Yeah, I just don't know if there's any of these other guys that will leave, and I think there's a few guys here that have re-signed. I don't know how accurate and this list is time-wise. Mate, one to watch, I think, as well, depending on how Cook goes and if he is the starting guy, Jacob Liddell over there at the Dragons. I don't mind him obviously being that guy, and Tom Starling, there's been a lot of chat around us talking to him here and there too, so one of those hookers. I don't mind getting a hooker into our side. I think we need it, to be honest.
I like Jaden Brayley too up there at the Knights.
Yeah.
I hear a few whispers about him possibly having a chat to the Rabbitohs at the moment.
Oh, yeah?
So Jaden Brayley, yeah, he's
because I think
unwanted up there at the Knights.
Well, yeah, the chat is that obviously for next year, they want to get release him next year. But he said that if the Knights don't want him, he wants to go now rather than later. So that's why he's just, talking with a few clubs. I know that Parramatta's been the big one that's been thrown up. But if he's talking to South, I'd love to get him here this year.
Oh, so would I.
How good would he be around our halves and our
really
forwards?
Good defender too.
Yeah.
Just tightens the middle up a lot.
Yeah, love Jaden Brayley. I think that he'd be a great guy to get over for sure.
No worries, mate. That might be about it, mate. We got anything else?
That's it, mate. That's it. The charity match. I do want to give a shout out to the Sportshed TV charity match boys for that day. I've talked a lot about it on the Supercoach Experience on the Burst podcast, but thought I'd give them a wrap on here. Obviously, to your fans as well, mate. I think that
we had a chat about it last show. I think.
Yeah.
I've seen some footage. You hammered some bloke.
Yeah. I got one good shot tackle.
in. Yeah, you hammered the bloke. That was a grouse.
Yeah, it was so good. The camera angle didn't really do it justice, but it was a good game. Really good game. So much fun out there. That's it, mate.
You can lay the lumber, the big boy. Don't worry about that. No, that was good footy, mate. I was proud of you, mate. That was unreal.
Yeah, so good.
I got one quick one tomorrow. I'm calling on my debut for the Bar TV. I'm calling the Harold Matthews and SG Ball game.
Oh, fantastic.
So Harold Matthews, we're undefeated. We're 3-0. We're playing Manly. I think they're 2-1 or 3-1. They're a good little side, Manly. A couple of players to look out for Manly. Prykeel, the halfback, he looks pretty good.
Yep.
They've got a couple of good centres. Crotty, strong right centre. South, I mean, there's plenty of good players in our side.
Zane Hill at 9's pretty good as well.
Oh, he's killing it this year, Zane Hill. Playing some really good football. And then the next game, we're playing the Tigers. Tanaus, a good halfback. Benson, the 5'8". Tauai Kalangi, the centre. He looks pretty good too. That's a really good matchup. They're undefeated. Balmain Tigers in the SG Ball. That's the under-19s, and we've only lost the one game. But we've got to probably bet a for and against to them. So it's going to be a really good contest. Yeah. If you can't get on the Bar TV and watch that one, get out to Redfern tomorrow. 10:30 for the Harold Mats and 12 o'clock midday for the SG Ball. We've also got a Dev game. I think it's a 16s Dev game on at 1:30.
Perfect.
So there's a bit going on out there at Redfern tomorrow.
Get out there, guys. Show your sport.
That might be about it for another edition. Up the Mighty Rabbitohs.
Up the Bunnies.